Hello and thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of the 5-Minute EVE News Recap. As always, I'm your host Alias Zero. Up first are coming changes to the world of EVE Online. Oceanus was successfully deployed on September 30th. It is the 4th update in the EVE Forever update model. CCP Fozzie posted a dev blog on how module tiericide is going to work. Named or previously meta number modules will have different effects based on their naming prefix instead of becoming increasingly close or matching and even rarely exceeding the T2 variant. CCP Veritas has left us a parting gift on his second to last day and posted information about an in-game idea he'd been prototyping called The Dojo. The Dojo is a closed arena that allows players to create fights where both sides' strength is fully disclosed. The Dojo also uses an alliance tournament-like point system for grading ships. Best of luck to Veritas in his future endeavors. Jump drive use will be changed dramatically with the coming Phoebe expansion. CCP is introducing a new feature called Jump Fatigue that adds a multiplier to jump drive cooldown. The changes come in an attempt to further abate force projection and requires careful planning before committing capitals and super capitals. Another change within this concept is that capital ships will now be able to use stargates to help offset jump drive cooldown times and promote capital ship visibility outside of combat roles. In PvP news for this last week, Pandemic Legion continues to be active in the War and Catch. Hero Corporation Unitas lost a station egg last Friday to a Pandemic Legion super drop in E1 TAC 4YH. Hard Knocks, Sleeper Social Club, and Laserhawks committed a T3 fleet against the Dark Space Initiative and one of their site-running fleets. Reportedly, TD Sin left their static open while running escalations. Their capital losses in the battle were 8 Dreadnoughts and 2 Archons, totaling 48 billion ISK. A joint fleet of Pandemic Legion and Shadow Cartel fought against Spectre Fleet in Camella. The ensuing brawl was 15 minutes long and had about 50 billion ISK in ships destroyed. You can see the battle report below. Black Legion, using an Ishtar fleet, destroyed 7 carriers belonging to Psychotic Tendencies. Though a handful of carriers did get away, Black Legion still destroyed 15 billion ships. Up next is what's going on in the community of EVE Online. Red vs. Blue celebrated their 5th birthday on September 25th. Celebration went off with a bang and consisted of a large brawl on Jita with over 3,000 cruisers destroyed and 40 billion ISK in total damages. Red vs. Blue is a high-sec-based PvP community comprised of the Red Federation and the Blue Republic. For the event, they had a prize pool of 10 billion ISK and a handful of Plex going out to the pilots that dealt the most damage in the brawl. Drama continues within the Incursion community. The Valhalla project has responded to last week's Accord from ISN with their own list of rules for potential agreement. Last Thursday, CCP premiered its EVE-based show, 07. The show is hosted by CCP Guard and is produced in Iceland. It's somewhat of a variety show type format and covers the goings-on within EVE, CCP, and the EVE community with at-length discussions from CCP staff and the players. The first installment had interviews and panels with EVE pilots, it covered EVE Down Under, and it also showed how some of the CCP employees do their work at the CCP offices. Crossing Zebras, an EVE news website run by CSM9 member Xander Fina, has created a new series called EVE 101. The series is more or less a primer for the burgeoning EVE player, and is intended to assist in scaling EVE's learning curve. Part 1 is focused on key concepts within EVE, such as the permanence of your actions and losses, the idea that EVE is based off of player interactions, and that EVE requires an initial investment in time, but can have great payoffs. A link to the first installment of the series can be found in the video description below. Goonswarm member Governor Shreds has created an EVE-based album called Pod Express. The album opens with a song called Undock, which sounds a lot like the old EVE jukebox songs. The album closer, called Dock, is also highly reminiscent of the ambient electronic music that played in EVE years ago. CCP Gargant has posted a dev blog detailing the coming 2015 EVE FanFest. Events include presentations and panels from CCP and EVE community members, a charity dinner hosted by CCP CEO Hilmar Vygar Peterson, a dev pub crawl, and a hangover party. Early bird tickets are sold out, but some tickets are still available. Reddit user Obscene Banana has made a really cool time-lapse image of sovereignty changes over the last few months. That wraps it up for this week's 5-Minute EVE News Recap. Once again, I'm your host Alias Zero. Thanks for tuning in, and please tune in next week.